I still think about that night. It's been years, and yet it's as vivid in my memory as if it happened yesterday. It was supposed to be a normal sleepover, just me, Jade, and Tasha, like always. We'd been best friends since 3rd grade, practically glued at the hip. That night, we camped out in my room. The floor was covered in a mess of board games, popcorn, and makeup. I remember Tasha giving Jade the most ridiculous green eyeshadow, and we laughed so hard that I cried. We stayed up late talking about crushes and creepy stories like we always did. Jade brought up aliens, how they supposedly like to visit small towns like ours. I laughed it off, but honestly, the thought made me uneasy. By the time we finally fell asleep, it was sometime after midnight. I remember feeling safe, tucked into my bed, with my 2 best friends right there with me. But then I woke up. It started with a scream, a horrible, bone-chilling scream. At first I thought I was dreaming, but then I sat up and saw the light. It was so bright it seemed to burn through my eyelids. I blinked, trying to make sense of it, and then I noticed Tasha's spot in the bed was empty. "Tasha," I whispered, but there was no response. Jade woke up beside me, her face pale. "Mia, what's going on?" Before I could answer, something moved outside the window. The light shifted, and then I saw him. It was a figure, tall and unmistakably alien. It had this oversized, bulbous head and enormous black eyes that seemed to pierce right through me. And then I saw Tasha. She was just there, hovering in the air like a puppet on invisible strings. Her mouth was open, but no sound came out. And then I heard it, not with my ears, but in my head. "Do not interfere or you will share her fate," it said. I froze. I couldn't move. I couldn't even breathe. Jade clung to me, shaking so hard I could feel her tremble through my arm. The alien lifted one of its long, thin arms, and something shiny appeared in its hand. A weapon, I think. It pointed it at Tasha's head. I remember trying to scream, to beg, to do anything, but all I could do was watch. "Please!" I finally managed to cry out. "Please don't hurt her." Its eyes flicked toward me for a moment, and then everything happened all at once. There was this flash, blinding white-hot light, and when it was gone, so was Tasha, so was the alien. Jade and I didn't have time to react. The next thing I knew, I felt my body going limp, like someone had flipped a switch, and everything went dark. When I woke up, the sunlight was streaming through the window like nothing had ever happened. For a moment, I thought maybe it hadn't, maybe it was just a nightmare. But then I sat up and saw Jade. She looked just as shaken as I felt. I turned to Tasha's side of the bed, my heart racing. She was there, just lying there, as if she'd been there all night. Her hair was a mess of curls, and she was lying peacefully on her pillow. I couldn't believe it. "Tasha," I whispered. She yawned and stretched, groggy like nothing was wrong. "What's up?" she asked. Jade and I stared at her like she'd grown a second head. "Are you okay?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. Yeah, why wouldn't I be?" she said, sitting up and rubbing her eyes. "You don't remember anything?" Jade asked. Her voice was shaking. Tasha frowned, looking at us like we were crazy. "No, we stayed up too late, played some games, then crashed. What are you talking about?" Jade and I didn't say anything. What could we say? Tasha had no idea what had happened, or if she did, she wasn't letting on. Life went on after that. Tasha stayed the same old bright, funny girl who was full of life. If that night left a mark on her, she never showed it. She graduated, got married, and even started her own business. She never mentioned anything strange, and Jade and I never brought it up again, but we remembered. How could we not? I still see it when I close my eyes. The light, the way Tasha floated like she was weightless, and that thing with its black, soulless eyes. Sometimes I wonder if it actually happened, but I know it did. Jade knows it did too. The thing is, I can't help but wonder what happened to Tasha during those missing hours. She didn't just disappear, she went somewhere. And as much as I want to believe she was unharmed, part of me wonders if a part of her was taken that night, something she never realized was gone. Even now, when I'm alone at night, I find myself staring out the window, waiting for that light to come back. It never does, but I can't shake the feeling that one day it might, and this time, it won't take Tasha.